Have you ever been so in love that you ignored all the red flags until they hit you like a truck? That was me. My name is Jordan, and I live in Baltimore, Maryland. I'm 21, in college. And until a few weeks ago, I thought my life was set. I had a great family, a part-time job that paid the bills, and a girlfriend who I genuinely thought I'd marry someday. Her name was Amanda. We'd been together for 2 years, and I honestly believed we had something unbreakable. But I was blind. Amanda fit right into my world. My mom adored her. My dad always joked with her. And my little sister used to call her future sis. Everything seemed perfect. Too perfect. I started noticing strange things about 6 weeks ago. My dad, who used to be barely active on social media, suddenly followed Amanda on Instagram and started liking her posts. Even the thirst traps she used to archive because she said they didn't reflect who she was anymore. She put them back up. I found that odd. Then there were the late-night study sessions Amanda claimed to have. Except she wasn't in college anymore. She'd graduated 6 months prior and hadn't mentioned applying for anything new. But I wanted to trust her. I didn't ask questions because I didn't want to seem insecure or paranoid. One Friday evening, my mom took my sister out to a church event, and I had to work a double shift at the diner. Amanda said she'd stay home and rest. I came home past midnight and noticed an unfamiliar perfume lingering in our living room. Strong. Way too strong for Amanda's usual scent. That alone wasn't enough to accuse anyone until I walked into the kitchen. There were 2 wine glasses in the sink. Red lipstick on both. Amanda doesn't wear red lipstick. Still, I told myself I was overthinking. I even laughed at myself for being so dramatic. But that gut feeling, it never went away. It followed me like a shadow. The final straw came when I overheard Amanda laughing on the phone with someone late at night, while she thought I was asleep. I couldn't hear everything, but I caught one line that made my stomach turn. He's so clueless, it's cute. She wasn't talking about a classmate or a friend. I knew she meant me. From that moment on, I decided to stop being clueless. I started watching everything, checking who came over when I wasn't home, looking for patterns. And as painful as it was to admit, the signs all pointed to something unthinkable, something so messed up, I didn't even want to believe it myself. My girlfriend was sleeping with someone close to me. I just didn't realize how close. Not yet. But I was about to find out. And once I did, I promised myself 2 things. I would get revenge, and I would make sure they both paid. Have you ever wanted to be wrong so badly, just so your world wouldn't fall apart? That's exactly how I felt the night I found out. For the next few days after I heard Amanda's phone call, I became someone else, not her boyfriend. Not even a student, just a guy chasing the truth. Like a detective in a bad soap opera. I checked her location. I checked her call logs when she left her phone unattended. I paid attention to the timing of her visits to my house and who was home when she showed up. There was one pattern I couldn't ignore. Amanda only came over when my mom was out, and my dad was home. At first, I told myself I was crazy, that I was spiraling and just hurting my own feelings. But then it happened. It was a Wednesday afternoon. My mom was working a late shift at the clinic. My sister was at gymnastics, and I had a canceled class. Amanda didn't know I'd be coming home early. She thought I'd be gone until 6 p.m. When I walked through the front door, I heard music playing softly upstairs. Jazz. My dad's playlist. Odd. He only listened to that stuff when he was cooking or trying to impress someone. Then I heard the sound that made my heart stop. Laughter. Amanda's voice. I moved slowly up the stairs, every step heavy like it was made of stone. The hallway was quiet except for the soft beat of Miles Davis and 2 voices behind the slightly open bedroom door. Not my parents' bedroom, the guest room. I pushed the door just enough to see what I needed to. My dad, shirtless. Amanda, in one of his button-downs, sitting on the bed, laughing, drinking wine. I didn't say a word. I didn't even walk in. I backed away before either of them noticed and went straight downstairs, walked out the front door, and sat in my car for what felt like hours. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat there, silent, frozen. My girlfriend was sleeping with my father. My girlfriend, who I told everything to. My father, who I looked up to, who raised me to believe in loyalty, respect, and family. They betrayed me in the dirtiest, most disgusting way possible, together. I didn't know how to tell my mom. I didn't even know if I could. But I knew I couldn't let it slide. Still, I wasn't ready to blow it all up just yet. I needed to hurt them first. Not physically, but emotionally. I wanted them to feel shame, regret, confusion. I wanted them to feel used. And there was only one person who could help me do that. Amanda's mom. And lucky for me, she'd always liked me just a little too much. Have you ever stared into the eyes of someone you're not supposed to want, and still wanted them anyway? That's how it felt the first time I looked at Amanda's mom after the betrayal. Her name is Teresa. She's 42, divorced, and honestly, she doesn't look a day over 35. The kind of woman who turns heads without trying. For the longest time, I saw her as just Amanda's mother. But that changed the moment I saw Amanda with my dad. The betrayal lit something dark inside me. I didn't want to just expose them. I wanted them to feel what I felt: humiliation, guilt, shame. So I reached out to Teresa under the perfect excuse. I texted her, "Hey, Miss Teresa, I know this is random, but I could really use someone to talk to. It's about Amanda." She responded in minutes. "Of course, sweetheart. You know you can talk to me anytime." We agreed to meet for coffee that Friday. At first, I didn't tell her the full truth. I played it soft, said Amanda had been distant, cold, and I thought she might be seeing someone else. Teresa sighed and told me I deserved better. She said she'd suspected. Amanda had been keeping secrets too, but didn't want to intrude. She put her hand on mine across the table and held it there for a moment too long. That's when I knew. I had her attention. Over the next few days, we kept texting, then calling, then FaceTiming. I told her things I hadn't told anyone, about my confusion, my anger, my heartbreak. And she listened. Every single time. By the end of that week, we weren't talking like ex-in-laws to be. We were talking like two people, stuck in a storm, together, lonely, hurt, hungry for comfort. The next weekend, I came over to Amanda's house under the pretense of picking up a hoodie I'd left behind. Amanda wasn't home. She was out with friends, which I knew really meant she was with my dad. But Teresa was there. She opened the door wearing an oversized t-shirt and a glass of wine in her hand. No makeup, hair in a loose bun, but still she looked beautiful and exhausted. I stepped inside. She didn't ask why I was really there. She just closed the door behind me. The tension was instant. She poured me a glass. We sat. We talked. And somewhere between the second sip and the second silence, she kissed me. I didn't stop her. I kissed her back. It wasn't soft. It wasn't romantic. It was raw, messy, desperate. And yes, I slept with her. Afterward, she sat quietly, her legs curled up on the couch like nothing happened. I got dressed, thanked her, and left. Not because I regretted it, but because now I was ready. I had my revenge, and it was time to burn everything to the ground. Have you ever smiled while setting fire to everything? Not a real fire, but the kind that scorches reputations, egos, and fake love. That was me the day I finally decided to end the show. After sleeping with Teresa, something in me felt calm, maybe because I finally felt back in control. Amanda and my dad thought they were pulling one over on me. They didn't know I was 2 steps ahead now, and I had no plans of playing nice. I started by inviting Amanda to lunch at a small cafe downtown. She looked stunning, hair curled, lipstick perfect, wearing the bracelet I bought her last Christmas. The same bracelet I saw sitting on my dad's nightstand. When I snuck a look in his room 2 nights ago, we sat down and I let her talk. She went on about how much she missed me, how she wanted to rebuild. She even had the nerve to call me her piece. That's when I slid my phone across the table. A photo of her, in bed, with my father, his wedding ring in clear view. Their faces unmistakable. Her smile died instantly. She stared at the screen like it might change if she looked hard enough. I leaned in. "You're not my piece, Amanda. You're my lesson." She opened her mouth to speak, but I didn't care. I stood up, dropped a 20 on the table, and walked out. Next, it was Dad's turn. That evening, I sat across from him in the living room. Mom and my sister were upstairs. He was watching a basketball game like nothing was wrong with the world. "I know," I said simply. He muted the TV and turned to me, confused. "Know what?" "That you're sleeping with Amanda." His face went pale. "I saw you. In the guest room. I've got pictures. I've got screenshots. You want me to keep going?" He didn't say a word, just stared at the floor. "Here's what's going to happen," I said calmly. "I'm telling Mom. Tonight." "You don't have to do that," he said quietly. I smiled. I already did. As if on cue, Mom came downstairs. Her face was blank, but her hands were shaking. She'd just read everything I sent her, the photos, the texts, the timestamps. The evidence was overwhelming. Without a word, She told him to pack his things. He tried to speak, to explain, to beg. She didn't listen. He was out of the house before midnight. Amanda? Her mom grounded her like a teenager, took her car keys, her phone, and cut her off financially. I didn't tell Teresa what we did. That part, I kept to myself, at least for now. As I watched my dad drive off into the night with trash bags in his trunk, I felt something unexpected. Not joy, not even satisfaction, just peace, real peace. And I still had one chapter left to write. Have you ever destroyed everything and still wondered if it was enough? It's been 3 weeks since the truth came out, since I watched my father walk out of our house for the last time, since Amanda lost everything, her fake smile, her excuses, her security. And honestly, I've never felt more alive. Mom's been quiet, but strong. She told me she always had suspicions about Dad, but never imagined it would be with Amanda, someone she welcomed into our home, someone she bought birthday gifts for. The betrayal cut deep, but it also opened her eyes. My dad tried calling me a few times, left some long, rambling voicemails about family and second chances. I didn't listen to most of them. I just deleted them. As for Amanda, she's been ghosted by most of her friends. Her mom cut off her allowance, took her car, and even threatened to send her back to live with her aunt in Texas. According to one of her friends, she's been crying nonstop. The heartbreak, the exposure, the humiliation, all hitting her at once. I didn't reply to her texts, not even the one that said, "You ruined my life." Because the truth is, she ruined mine first. But let's talk about the real twist. Teresa, Amanda's mom, texted me last night. She wrote, "I still think about that night. I don't regret it. Do you?" I stared at the message for a long time. I haven't replied yet. Do I regret it? No, not at all. But I'm also not going to make this mess any messier than it already is. I don't need more chaos. I've had enough to last a lifetime. Now I'm just focused on healing, on rebuilding, and on watching karma do its thing, slowly, brutally, and without apology. Would I do it all again? Honestly, yeah. Every move, every decision, every risk. Because sometimes, the only way to get peace is by choosing violence, emotional violence, that is. And before I close this chapter for good, I've got a question for you. What would you have done if you were in my shoes? Would you have told your mom? Slept with Amanda's mom? Exposed everything like I did? Or would you have just walked away and let karma handle it? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one. And if you made it this far, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. We drop videos like this every single day, stories about cheating, betrayal, revenge, and the chaos of real life. Don't miss tomorrow's story. Trust me, it's even crazier than this one. See you in the next one. Stay petty, stay smart, and don't let snakes sit at your table.